There's a special moment when a game indicates that it knows what its players are going to want to do and seems to gently guide you to play it just right. In the city builder Banished, that moment occurred for me almost as soon as I loaded the tutorial, which is one of the best I've ever played. In both how it presented itself and how it taught me, Banished clearly indicated that it wanted me to comprehend its systems. And then it let me encounter my first harsh winter, where a third of my town died to starvation. First, Banished teaches its systems, then it can crush you with them. Banished is simply pleasant to watch and to listen to. The architectural style and constant impressive weather effects made me think of it as nothing less than Skyrim City. Meanwhile, the sound and music are either unobtrusive or charming. A clean, minimalist, and customizable interface stays out of the way, making it easy to lose several hours to the beautiful passing of the seasons. Its refreshing difficulty doesn't come from struggling to figure out what's happening or how to understand it, but instead from the rhythms of play. Things like expanding too quickly to feed everyone, or running short of firewood in the winter. My towns rarely reached a point of equilibrium where I felt comfortable with where it was at that moment. For example, you can only grow your population by having children, which occurs when you build new houses. But kids are useless. They eat, but they don't work. Too many kids leads to too little food and famine. But if you build too few new houses, your population ages and shrinks. It's a constant balancing act. Banished also uses physical space to great effect. If the distance between home and work is too great, citizens become inefficient workers. Food and supplies are more easily distributed from a central location, while several buildings are only useful in forests further away. Oh, but housing and farming destroy those forests. Trade-offs like that give Banished the feel of an enticing, almost solvable puzzle. But even in my most apparently stable villages, 2 bad early winters in a row could trigger a famine that could spiral out of control. A city building with intrinsic difficulty merely from its own rhythms of play is a remarkable achievement. Unfortunately, Banished doesn't always manage that. Success or failure can be too varied based on the randomness of the starting position. The secret weapon for Banished is that there's no money. It's thematically consistent, and it makes the gameplay simple to understand while allowing the individual mechanics to be more difficult. By avoiding funneling all of its difficulty through money and debt, Banished can take each aspect of building a city, food, tools, space, materials, health, and make each an individual challenge. However, Banished is purely a sandbox game, and it lacks any long-term goals beyond survival and a handful of achievements to work toward. So while it remained a challenge to keep my good-sized village stable, I didn't often see a reason to load it up again instead of starting a new city. As a city-building game, Banished is dazzling. It combines simple charms with transparent but complex systemic interactions and a tough but fair difficulty curve at least most of the time. My only real criticisms are that it left me wanting more, such as strong overarching long-term goals, like a campaign mode. That might have pushed Banished into the top tier of amazing strategy games, but instead it'll have to settle for merely being great.